Caution, manga and current season spoilers ahead. My Hero Academia's tournament arc was great. It subverted my expectations at some points and was so well paced that I enjoyed every second. Well, I enjoyed everything except what Season 3 is proving to be the biggest mistake of that arc.
Katsuki Bakugo!
That's Todoroki from Class 1A! Class 1A Zizugumi Korya! Kaminari! Team Shinso!
Shura Hotaro! Tetsu Tetsu and Shiozaki!
Hata Zero! Tenya Ida from the Hero Course! Mei Hatsume! It's Yuga Aoyama! Mia Ashino! The first year champion of the UA Sports Festival is Katsuki Bakugo from Class 1A!
That they use the students' real names. Now, before we get too far, I'm gonna let you know that I usually don't read the manga, but I figured I'd read ahead this time. And boy, did I call the chaos that would come from the second season sports festival, which just adds to the reason why My Hero is so good. Something that I thought was a major flaw was actually a plot device. But even though it's addressed, there are still some aspects that bug me. I'm currently this far in the manga, so if I miss something or get something wrong, that's probably why. So, let's start with the aspect that My Hero actually utilizes during Season 3. The villains use real names to their advantage. Since the sports festival is broadcasted to the whole country, it's so much easier for the villains to attack the students. Everyone in the country can know the student's name, appearance, ability, skill level, and potentially their personality, which is the whole reason why Bakugo was targeted. Look at him, he looks more villainous there than heroic, and he won, so obviously he's pretty strong. But the villains are stupid. They kidnapped him while he was at the summer camp. This is stupid because this decision makes it harder for the villains to kidnap him, and they prove that there's a leak at UA. The smarter move would have been to look up his address and take him from his own home. That way you'd only need to fight him and maybe his family, which is a whole lot easier than professional heroes' a small army of trainees. It's not until after the kidnappings that the school realizes they should consider the students' security outside the classroom, all the while they don't consider increasing security for the families. Villains, I understand that you're recruiting, but if you want to increase chaos and maybe take down UA's remaining credibility, the families are now saying ducks. Just saying. And the current students' names is just the surface of the information the villains could have. The school has been broadcasting this event for years, right? That means that all alumni's real names are obtainable to the public. There's gotta be some sort of record or tape out there. I mean, this event is important enough to broadcast to the entire country. Somebody would have kept something. So if the villains really wanted to attack All Might, the best course of action would be doing some research, comparing his power and appearance to students in past years, find his real name, find his address, and take him out in his sleep. Why waste so much energy fighting him when the students go to train with 13? Sure, taking him out at home isn't showy, but the results would probably be more effective. But I kind of feel obligated to give this one a pass since, this is a shonen and we're kind of all here for the fights anyways. That doesn't necessarily make this any less stupid of a plan, though. Regardless, none of this should have been a problem anyways. The thing that bothers me is that the school should have never considered using the students' real names. From a narrative standpoint, I understand that this was needed for the next arcs, but come on, this is the best hero school we're talking about. They should be held to a high standard. There's only one good in-universe reason for the use of the real names. There are students from other courses competing too. For the other students, their names are their branding. Mei is the only character who really sees this and takes advantage of it, using her time to sell her inventions. But let's be real here. The festival is biased towards showing off the Heroes course. UA Sports Fest may claim to have the Olympic spirit of coming together, but when all the events play to the strengths of the Heroes course, it has a clear priority of marketing certain students. And the students in the Hero class are driven to do well because winning could lead to higher profile internships and other opportunities. Even All Might urges the hesitant Midoriya to
introduce yourself to the world and proudly say, I am here.
And although All Might's purpose to encourage Midoriya is multifaceted, since it's in part for Midoriya to prove to himself that he's capable and the other parts demonstrating to the public what kind of hero he'll be, All Might wants Midoriya to be noticed. These heroes and students are viewing this from more of a professional athlete standpoint. From their perspective, it's better for you to get your branding out there. If you show that you're the best and have a winning personality or gimmick, you're gonna have a better chance of being a top-tier hero. If Midoriya wants to inspire people how All Might inspired him, he has to prove himself. There's only so much room at the top, so you have to give it your all to get there and keep giving it your all to stay there. Which is good and all for professional athletes, but heroes aren't professional athletes. They're more like a soldier, cop, spy, celebrity hybrid. Heroes fight criminals. Athletes don't fight other athletes like heroes fight villains. Athletes usually don't tend to have their lives on the line just based off their name being in public. That's why traditionally superheroes take a secret identity, so that they can brand the hero persona, but keep themselves and their family safe. That's why it was such a big deal at the end of the first Iron Man movie when Tony tells the world that he's the guy in the suit. He broke the expectations and opened the door to an abundance of other issues. Wouldn't the school want the students to debut their hero persona to the world? This is the perfect time to make an association between the hero's branding and the school's, both promoting the hero and the school's reputation for making good heroes. Why would they waste such a good opportunity and have the students pick the names after the sports festival? I mean, it's the immediate next episode. I understand that not all courses have a need for a hero name, but just have them pick one regardless of what course that they're in. Really, the only person that this negatively affects is May. But considering everything that happens in the next arc, disappointing her is the lesser of the two evils. The last thing I want to bring up from the villain attacking side of this issue is that no one holds the school accountable for this. When the students are fighting the villains off during the camp, Froppy even says that the villains probably know their names from the tournament, giving them the advantage. And after this line is said, it's not directly really addressed again by the students. Well, besides the fact that they have to use disguises later. Which is another issue that was brought up by the fact that they use their real names, in addition to the fact that the school had them use their school-regulated gym clothes. I'm more willing to give the clothes a pass, though, because it's still easier to find out more about the students from their names than just their appearance alone. Plus, if UA is dead set on all the courses participating, the costumes definitely could be seen as an advantage for the Heroes course in addition to their training, so it makes sense that they want to even the playing field by wearing the same clothes. That's why any additions that they wear need to be first approved before the tournament. It just seems problematic to me that the students would take this so matter-of-factly. I understand that this is going to be something that they'll have to deal with when they're actual professional heroes, but currently, they're still learning their quirks. Allowing a villain to know all this information about them is either setting them up for failure or a very tough battle. And the students aren't the only ones that don't hold the school accountable for this. In the press conference that was held after the attacks, the reporters were so concerned about whether or not Bakugo would turn that they didn't even question UA's practices during the sports festival. You would think that a reporter would put two and two together and realize that the information given during the sports festival made it easier for the villains to target Bakugo. Even the principal really doesn't address this issue. Since we're done with that arc, it's time to focus on the traitor. Which is important, but dude, your school itself is a huge leak. On a public level. These attacks should have happened years ago. How could something like this happen and you still don't realize that you should revise how the sports festival is conducted? That's not even brought up once in the immediate chapters following the kidnapping. As I've said before, the leak shouldn't have even been confirmed as an issue because the villains didn't need a leak to kidnap Bakugo. And the people need to realize UA is reactionary and won't even take full proper measures after something like this occurs. Okay, so that's all the obvious villain issues that My Hero brings to light, and also ignores. But there's another aspect that, albeit less important, is another issue I have with their real names being revealed. Using their real names also has an impact on the average person. Given that we can easily find out their real names, what's the point of the heroes' names besides branding? Part of the magic of superheroes is the mystery of who they are. It makes it easy for you to imagine yourself in the role of the hero. But if I'm a kid in this universe, I'm probably growing up watching these kids during the sports festival. I'm gonna idolize and remember some of them. And when Creaty makes her debut, I'm gonna be happy that Momo made it into the big leagues. Sure, I may not know who All Might is because he's before my time, but I would have grown up first being introduced to Midoriya and the gang through the sports festival. If that's the case, their hero name is really nothing more to me than a stage name. And stage names really aren't effective in the same way traditional superhero names are. There's an inherent identity attached to a stage name. So as a kid playing, you're going to act like them instead of becoming them. It's a subtle difference, but it's a pretty big one. They can both inspire, but one inspires as a person rather than an idea. I can never be Iron Man. That's Tony. But I could be Batman. I can be All Might, but I can never be Deku because that's Midoriya. Batman and All Might can live on as symbols. Iron Man and Deku are tied to the individual. There's a reason why Midoriya is the protagonist. He's the only character who really puts heroes on a high pedestal, which is closer to how we see superheroes than anyone else in his world does. Ochako even said that she's in it for the money, meaning that this hero thing is just another job. Sure, she may have good intentions for this money, but it's personal. In contrast, Midoriya embodies more traditional traits and motives of a superhero, making him the perfect baseline to help ease the audience into this world, especially if they have little knowledge on the genre. I want to be like Midoriya. I want to see the heroes as more than just humans. But if I was in his world, a world where the sports festival is primetime content, I could never be like him. I would see my heroes as people, which makes them more like celebrities than what I would define as a superhero. But in a world where crime-fighting superpowered people is just a part of normal society, I guess the separation of identity and its impact would eventually fade away. Todoroki was right when he chose his hero name, because when the school is willing to broadcast your name to the entire country, you're better off just embracing it. And updating your home security system. I think there's still a lot to be explored in the lore, and I'm really looking forward to it. I really want to understand how identity works within this world. So if you have a good understanding of it, please explain it to me in the comments below. If you're interested in the wild accusations I make, click here to check my very rough thoughts on the first 2 episodes of Magical Girl Site versus all 12 episodes of Madoka. Or click here to see what YouTube thinks you'd like. And while you're clicking on things, maybe like and sub if you feel up to it. I'm Ray, and I'll see you in the next video.